EDLL 3352 Writing Synthesis by Kindle and Butler. There are four main concepts that teachers can use in order to help their students become competent writers. Teachers should encourage students to become competent writers, and by doing so, the teachers are encouraging their students to write the best piece that the student could possibly write. However, teachers need to keep in mind that every student will have a different writing level, therefore every piece will be different. The four main concepts of writing are balanced literacy, writer's workshop, the writing process stages, and the 6 traits of writing. The balanced literacy components in writing include shared writing, which is when the teacher does all the writing and the teacher is modeling the 6 traits of writing. Interactive writing, which is where the teacher provides the most help and it is viewed as the share the pen model. An example of this would be in my placement last semester when my mentor teacher created an anchor chart of the story that had just been read in class together. The teacher wrote the majority of the sentences, but then called a few students up to the board to fill in the blanks of the details that were found in the story. The last is independent writing. Independent writing is when the teacher helps the least in a child's writing. The students go back to their desk and are working independently, writing by themselves on their own piece of work. Writer's workshop is when the teacher can work one-on-one or with a small group of students to help with their reading comprehension level and their writing. Writer's workshop consists of mini lessons/introduction. In this section, the teacher will introduce the book and the teacher and the students will discuss what topic or lesson the students will be learning about. The teacher will ask a series of questions to activate the students' background knowledge and have them start thinking about comprehension of the book. We wrote and conducted mini lessons and introductions each week when we met with our 3rd grade case study student. The next is writing time. During this time, the teacher is allowing the students time to write about questions that they have discussed or some topics covered in either the mini lesson or the book. The last is sharing time. This is when the teacher allows for the students to share what they have written over the book or mini lesson. The student goes through the whole writing process when they are working towards finishing and publishing a piece. The student should go through these stages. Rehearsing. Rehearsing is when a student is creating a mind map, orally discussing with others, or just brainstorming about different things that they may want to write about. Drafting. In this stage, the student is creating a rough draft of what they wish their published piece to look like and sound like. They are getting their thoughts down on paper and starting to create a working draft of their writing. Revising. This is when a student is adding and taking away details from their paper. The student is changing the structure of their piece as a whole. Editing. In this stage, the student is working on conventions, spelling, changing the words that the student might not like, and using a thesaurus to look up new words to help with word choice. Sharing is when a student shares his or her writing with another group of students or the class as a whole. An example of this would be when we had our students share their writing pieces at our publishing party. Publishing is the student's writing piece as a whole. It is the finished product that the student has produced. It contains the whole writing process and the 6 traits of writing. The 6 traits of writing are what many people think of when they think of what writing consists of. Ideas. Ideas are the main idea or theme of the story. It is often looked at as to why the author decided to write this piece. Organization. Organization is the way an author organizes their writing and their page setup. It is the way he or she decides to place the words on the page. Voice. Voice is what the writer decides to say and how it makes an impact on the reader. Next is word choice. Word choice is the words that an author decides to use. An example of this is when my 3rd grade student decided to use a thesaurus to look up some synonyms for words that she was overusing. Sentence fluency. Sentence fluency pertains to how a piece sounds and the way it rolls off your tongue. A great example of this is when you read the book, There Once Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Pie. When I read this book to my student, the words just flew off my tongue and rolled off very easily. Last is conventions. Conventions is what many teachers and professors get caught up in when grading. It is the spelling, commas, and punctuation of a piece.